We're live. We're live. What's going on, people? It's been a week. It's been another week. It's been a week. That makes 3. Anyway, welcome to Ian's extraordinary live painting live stream. We are once again doing Instagram and YouTube. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing both. Probably just going to keep rocking and rolling on YouTube. But hi, friends. Colleen, Tommy. So this might only be a YouTube type of thing in the future, but you know, it is what it is, and YouTube is great. It's widescreen, so if you're on Instagram, go to YouTube. You get a way better view, and honestly, a lot of the time you're probably going to be just getting my voice, unless I'm coming back here to talk to you. YouTube, you got a great view. Anyway, welcome. Hi guys. How's been your week? How's everybody doing? Wave. Oh my god, paint something. Tommy. Anyway, I love you guys. This week, we're going to do something real fun. We're going to play with this little bad boy. With my airbrush. So I'm going to show you guys a couple different techniques that I use to kind of do some of this crazy shit. But before that, you guys should know that I'm doing in-between episodes now, which are just kind of time lapses of all the boring stuff that I did on these 3 things while y'all weren't with me live. So any day of the week, you could just go check out The Pickle. And that's in the feed on the YouTube. And The Pickle is just kind of a cool in-between episode. Way less talking, way more just doing art as fast as I can and as intelligently as I can to be as fast as I can. Cool. So we got. I miss you, Tommy. Damn. We're gonna use this airbrush. So on this painting, we're just gonna kind of do some atmospheric-y stuff, so that our next layer kind of pops a little bit. We might kind of give it a little bit of some detail shading or whatever, but we'll see. But to start, you get a good view. You can kind of see that, right? Yeah. All right. I love airbrushes. They're great. They create a lot of atmosphere. You probably hear that thing. That's my compressor. Clicks on, when I've used some air. They're a pain in the ass to clean, though, so I don't use them very often unless I kind of need to. But I love it. It's a great tool. You get a lot of weird pressure. You can do stencils. You can do line work. You just tape stuff off, which is rad. Hi, Owen. I love you guys, all of you. All right, so this thing has a great hopper. You just put paint right in this little hopper up here, and it's just gravity fed. So gravity just feeds it down to this thing where there's a little needle, and the little needle pulls back, and that's what lets paint out. Air is coming out the whole time, but the needle is what lets the paint out. So this stuff is kind of liquidy, and kind of a little too liquidy for my tastes. So I mix that with some of this, which is just a totally different brand, but it's a little bit thicker, and I find kind of a mix of the two is really kind of where the sweet spot is. So we just put a little bit of both in there. We're just going to mix that bad boy around. Also, if somebody could do a bad boy count how many times I say bad boy, because I think it's a lot. I think probably I say boom a lot too, so I'm sorry about the bad boys and the booms. But we got some paint mixed. The cool thing about an airbrush is this is going to come out really, really kind of fast. I'll show you. So you guys know I always keep kind of extra paintings around for when I'm trying to just figure out a paint, or I have spare paint on a brush. I always have these little things around that I can kind of waste that paint and stuff on. So I don't know if you can see that a little bit, but that's coming out. That's pretty dark, right? So we don't necessarily, I want to do a dusting. So on my airbrush, there's a little knob that basically just lets air out continuously out of a different valve. and that can kind of adjust your pressure a little bit. So, but it doesn't mean the compressor runs the whole time, so it's loud. I'm sorry. But you can see how now that's like a little bit lighter, and that's kind of what we want to use for this. So we're just kind of like, we just kind of want to kind of build some background here. This is going to be great because this is going to really make that next layer that we put on there kind of stand out a little bit, which is definitely something we want. So this is kind of some just atmospheric airbrushing. You can kind of see it developing. And that's going to give us kind of just something to pop off the next layer with. Another thing I have is I always kind of keep a business card around. This you can get really fun. You can kind of come in and just do, you can kind of do some lines here. Boom. There goes a boom. See that? So we're just kind of creating these like little spiral outlines that kind of point towards the center. You know, we're all centrally here. I don't know if you guys can hear that compressor, but it's loud. All right, cool. So we kind of did some atmosphere stuff. We're gonna let that dry. While that one is drying, we're gonna move on to the next one. And I'm going to show you another cool thing that you can do with an airbrush. So obviously you see on the pickle, I made quite a bit of progress, which is rad. I'm kind of not really liking this background right here, so we just want to add a little flair to this situation. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that with something called frisket paper, which is this beautiful, beautiful stuff. This is clear, slightly sticky stuff. So basically, what we can do is we're going to be able to put that down just like that, and then while it's on the painting, we're going to be able to cut it, and then we'll be able to peel. We'll be able to peel out different shapes, and that way we can play with the airbrush in that way. So it's basically like creating a living stencil almost. It is slightly fun to handle, but we're just going to make sure it sticks up over the top. I'm just going to flatten it with the old handaroo. All right. And the great stuff about this is it's not super sticky, so we can we'll be able to peel, we'll be able to place back, whatever, and that way we can kind of keep checking everything out. So we're going to do that. So what I want to do on this is, like I said, I'm kind of not feeling this background area. It's not got enough going on for me. So we're going to get up in there with one of our fun little compasses, and we're going to get some, oh, you guys might get the Super Extendo compass. All right. I've only talked about this. The legends are true, you guys. The legends are true. Check it out. Double whammy on that compass. And then we can close this up a little bit, tighten that. Hi, Eric. Hi, friend. Hi, Johnny. Hi, Eric. Eric, are you watching on 2 platforms? That's great. Like stereo. All right, cool. So this thing allows us to get a lot farther out, which we want. So we're going to kind of play around up here. Give that a line. The frisket paper takes pencil really well, which is nice because generally when you do a lot of mixed media stuff, the pencil doesn't necessarily go over everything real well, but it does here, and we like that. And so we're going to kind of be like a shapely circle. We're going to give it a little bit of dimension. All right. Da 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 da. All right. Saw I saw a few friends today from a safe distance. That was awesome. Seeing friends now is like the raddest. It's great. All right, so we made some lines on here. We're going to come out. This is my favorite tool, I think, probably in all the world. This is an X-Acto knife. I go through blades of this by the dozens. X-Acto knives are pretty much a staple of my artwork. So we're going to use one. We're going to use it, my favorite tool. And we're just going to actually just cut those lines that we just made with that compass. We want to get all the way off the edge of this stuff. Boop. All right. All right. Cool. This is great. All right. So we can just peel this right off, right? Boom. So that shape right there, we've basically created a stencil here. What's cool about Frisket is you can kind of just stick it to itself so that when you need it again, you can just peel it right off of there and put it back right where you want it. Phenomenal. All right. All right. We're just going to lightly dust that. I don't really want it to be too crazy of a contrast. So we're just going to kind of give that a little bit of boom. You see that? See how I barely did anything, right? You can barely see that. But I promise when I peel this Frisket in a moment, actually I could peel it right now. We're going to do it. We're haphazard here. All right. Great. So you see, we created that. We created a little distance between seemingly two layers there. Stick that right there. We're going to do the same thing again. So basically, we're just creating kind of steps up towards this. Sometimes I think I'm thinking of these circles and the mandalas and all of that as if I'm kind of standing at the top of a tower and I'm looking down a tower, and the center is like where I would be standing. And then I'm just kind of looking down at the tower as it kind of architecturally builds out to create, strength. So that's weird. Sometimes I think about that, which is cool. A little insight. All right, we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to do it. All right, and then I guess we could see what that looks like. I don't know. Might want to leave this Frisket paper. Oh, we see that? Ooh, dang. Ooh, that's good. All right, we're going to leave that there, though, because I think that what we're actually going to want to do is pop this red layer off a little bit, too. So let's do that. So basically, we already have that red shape on there. I don't need to draw another line. I'm just going to go right with that shape. I trust my blade skills. I've been with the blade for many, many, many years. Cool. All right. Let's give it another little blast. How cool is that, though, when you peel it off and you can see what an amazing thing you've done. All right, here we go. When I get a little closer, because we're trying to give it a little more depth, we kind of want it to really, really stick out there. Oh yeah, see that? That's rad. That's super rad. We might need to slap maybe some outlines on there. That's looking like a pretty harsh edge for something that would be in the background. So, putting kind of a really light, sloppy kind of outline on that might help tone down that big difference there. But this is how it's done, guys. One layer at a time, and then you look at what you did and you correct it, or you approve and you move on to the next layer. I think I'm going to leave this frisket paper on here because we may want to come back into that in a little bit. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put these pieces back just so you guys can kind of see how easy it is. Actually, you want to kind of work your way out in. So this piece, we know where that goes. And if you just, all you got to do is kind of set it there, and it does the rest of the work for you. Like I said, it does the rest of the work for you. Bing. And then this should pretty much fall right into place. And then we did this guy, which was like one of these. And then like that. So now this whole painting, well, except for down here, I only put that top layer of frisket paper on, but everything here up is covered. So if I were to hit that with spray paint or anything, it wouldn't affect the canvas at all. All it would do would be hitting that frisket paper, which is great. So frisket, like I said, frisket paper is basically a living stencil. You can remove a shape, adjust it, do a different shape, all of that, which is really rad. And it's a little pricey, but when you're working with an airbrush and you're a detail freak like me and all of that, it's usually worth it. One issue we're going to have here is my push pin's not going to go through that hole. Okay. All right. Now, just to save us a little time, because a lot of the steps of my art are really boring. This is really glary. Oh, I don't know where that glare is coming from. I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. Oh, God. All right. That's all right. We're going to deal with that, I guess. Otherwise, it gets too... sorry, guys. Anyway, that's all right. So this one, I already covered the whole thing with frisket paper. I already cut the shapes, so we're going to be able to kind of just speed through this. But what I want to do is I want to change my airbrush color to green. I think laying some green into the background of this is really, really what we want to do, which is great. Hi.
Keep going.
Oh, hi.
Do you want me to softbox your light that's making the glare?
Well, it's this light.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay. Meg's going to help me out with some lighting here, which is good. Anyway, so I already covered this. That's why it's getting so much glare here. I already covered this in frisket paper. I already cut the shapes out. So basically all we're going to be able to do, what we're going to do is we're going to peel, we're going to spray, we're going to put the shapes back. I'm going to show you how to create a kind of a lot of depth with just having your frisket pre-cut and having your airbrush ready to go. I am going to change my color to green. That's what we're going to do. We have some paint in the airbrush still. You guys know I hate to waste things. So we're going to use some airbrush on these things just because I don't want to waste that paint. These things are done the same way. They're kind of done outside in. So I just kind of do it layer by layer. Sometimes just some fun shapes. If I get really, really fun, I have this giant folder of pattern stencils that I use. like this. This is bricks. This is a hand-cut brick stencil that I used to use a lot. And this was before I had the paper cutting machine, which I can cut stencils with now. But before that, I hand cut all these, which is just magical. So this is cool. This little pattern stencil. We're gonna be able to do some of this action, and that's gonna give us a little brick wall looking kind of situation. Meg's gonna come walk by me here real quick, but I'm gonna put some more bricks on this thing.
It's like a gauntlet coming in here. Oh yeah, baby.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Meg, the lighting genius. That's perfect. All right, bricks. So that's cool. So I have a whole bunch of texture and shape stencils and stuff like that that I'm always using. Shortcuts. I like shortcuts because everything else I do takes forever. So the shortcuts are good. We're just gonna use up some airbrush here. Maybe we'll write some things like hi. Oh, that looks terrible. I haven't practiced with my airbrush in a while. Centaur. Then always met, you know, in every painting, you gotta get that magtar. Magtar. Anyway, airbrushes are really fun for just creating texture and stuff like that. So that's what I do. Give me a moment. I'm just gonna rinse this out real quick. And then we're gonna mix up a nice dark green. Yeah, I like green. I don't know if you guys knew that. I like green a lot. Green's my fave. How's that lighting go? All right? Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Thank you, Meg.
You're welcome.
All right, so there's probably still a little black in there, which is fine. Like I said, it's pretty hard to clean these things out. So it is what it is. But there's probably a little black in there, but that's fine because we want a dark green, which is cool. Oh, I look like Darth Vader and shit. All right. Green. Airbrush. That's real liquidy. Super liquidy. Like I said, I don't like super liquidy. In fact, I put a little too much in there. So I think we're gonna save some of this so we can splatter. Who likes splatter? I do. All right, we got our green. There's still a little black in there. What we're gonna do to thicken this up a little bit is add a little white, but just a tiny little white. If you add too much white, it gets light very, very, very quickly. But we're gonna use a dirty brush too, so that'll add a little darkness. If you believe in a thing called love. I don't know if you guys saw Meg's karaoke, but she's amazing. Are you watching Instagram or?
You're really dark on Instagram. I think you should take your hood off. It's like hard to see your face a little bit.
Freedom. I also have another green. This is like a cheaper. This is something I got a really long time ago with a really crappy airbrush that was really crappy. But it's nice. Lots of pigment. So we're going to get that in there. And hopefully this is the green that we're looking for. Oh, yeah. All right. I should have pre-mixed all this, but hey, you know, it's only episode 2. We're learning. We're learning stuff. All right, cool. So I got my paint, I got my brush. I have this little airbrush holder, but it's kind of not positioned very well. We're learning, we're doing things. All right, so I'm just gonna peel and then let you guys kind of watch what's happening, and then at the end we'll peel it all so you can kind of see what happens when you peel all the frisket. But we want these pink and green lines to stand out a little bit. So we're coming in here and we're taking out all the negative space. Sometimes you still got to go in with your X-Acto. Right. Well, shoot. I thought I did a good job prepping for this show, y'all. All right, there we go. Let's get a couple of the way over. Okay. Saving that for later. All right, I'm saving that for later. Cool. All right, we got our green mixed. I'm going to let the airbrush run a little soft, so the compressor's going to run for a little bit, so I probably won't talk for a moment because it's going to be loud. All right, we got just the right pressure. This thing is great. You guys are going to love this. So it's not quite as dark as I wanted, so this is actually going to give some of this stuff a glow. But you know what? That's fun. We're going to run with it. We're going to run with it. Because sometimes the best art comes from mistakes. I don't know. Maybe it'll dry darker. We'll see. Yeah. Shoot. I'm gonna mix a darker paint real quick. Sorry, guys. Don't worry. It's all part of the process. All part of the process. Bob Ross says they're happy accidents. Bless Bob Ross. All right. Mixy. That's a little darker, but just to be sure, learn from our mistakes. Let's go a little even darker. So while I'm just stirring this, had a lot of time on quarantine to just do some work for Ian, which is great. So I've been doing a lot of Ian work. Been working on my website. Y'all should check that out, iantartasky.com. Not to sell you anything here, but you know. I would love to do this full time, but I need the money to do it full time. All right, I'm spilling paint and everything. All right, this is darker. This is more what I was thinking in the first place. This is great. So we're just kind of building some depth. Build that depth. Build that depth. Build that depth. All right. One of the cool things about the airbrush is it dries super fast, which is great. Rachel, hello. Colleen, hello. Owie, hello. Cool. Welcome, y'all. It dries really fast, so we'll pretty much be able to pop that frisket paper right back over. I mean, that's dry, I think, except for right there. I could pull out a hair dryer to fix that too, but meh. sometimes what I'll do is just go on to another part of the painting while that other part is drying. So we have to do that same stuff down here, so we're just going to go ahead and rock and roll and do it. Brisket. Brisket. It's hard though, because when you're peeling it off and placing it, you're going to forget where you placed it, and then all of a sudden, you're going to be like, where's my damn piece? Where's my damn piece? It's right here, y'all, in quarantine. All right. There we go. We're just peeling out the negative space. Just making a stencil here. Ooh, I was not so good with my X-Acto knife. It's hard to know when you're cutting it how deep to cut. Oh, and we got a seam right there. All right, well, we ripped that a little bit, but you know what? You know what I always say. Character. All right, that's going to be fine though. All right, and we peeled everything we needed to peel. We're going to pull the airbrush out. Just spilling everywhere, y'all. All right. Do that same thing over here. Oh. Drip, drip. All right. Well, I think I did something. It's a little hard to tell when you're using Frisket paper kind of what you've been doing and what you haven't. You don't really know what's going on until you peel it. And then you kind of get the full picture of everything like that. But I bet that our stuff down here is dry. We could probably put our Frisket paper back on there. Although, like a genius, I just put all that other Frisket paper down over that Frisket paper. Brilliant, my friends. Brilliant. Where are you from? No idea. You're from down there. You're from down there. God, it's like, is this dude a professional or what? All right. This must be from up here. It is. All right, word. And see, that just goes right back into place. It pretty much just falls into place, which is wonderful. Beautiful, even. All right. Where's this piece? This must be up here. Something like that. All right. Where'd that other piece go? That one. Yes. All right. Sometimes it doesn't go on exactly perfectly, but like I said, I'm cool with that. Basically, what that'll lead to would be like a couple weird lines, almost like lines, which, cool, I'm into that. I guess we could probably put our Frisket there too. All right. Cheers, everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope you don't have to work tomorrow. If you do, be safe out there. Be safe. Wash your hands. What else did it say? Gargle. do all that stuff. Last night, a bunch of people from my favorite musical production company did a live reading of the script for Scream, and they did it live via Zoom, and that was pretty funny. I enjoyed that. I really like seeing how everybody's kind of learning new ways to communicate with each other. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for communicating with me here. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me for this hour every week. Hour and a pickle. Don't forget about the pickle. That I'll be posting about all this as we go. The pickle, the show, the art, the shop. Put some stuff up in the shop, y'all. About to put up a bunch more. I got a bunch of prints going in there. Just got to figure out kind of some of the details for shipping and such. But check out the shop. Right now there's a bunch of stuff through Society 6, which is a place that I upload my designs into, and then they sell a bunch of stuff online, and I make a little money from it, but I don't do any of the work, so that's cool. If you're feeling so inclined, please buy some stuff. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Shoot. I feel like I always tell you about movies that I watched while we're hanging out here. Let's see. Meg and I just watched Midsommar, whatever it is. I thought it was pretty good. Pretty good. Not your typical horror movie. Just kind of, it was wild. It was out there. I liked it. Okay. Now, we're also going to come in. We're going to give these dark green shapes a little shading too. That's going to help them out quite a bit. Figure out. We're also going to pop this back behind that a little bit using a little shading. I think we're good to go. We're good to go. Well, we're good-ish. All right, we're going. All right, we're coming in. All right. As promised, let's peel this frisket and see what we did. Let's see how that looks. I'm probably not going to use any of this again, so we're probably just going to toss these pieces. Okay. All right. Just created a little bit of depth. You guys aren't really seeing this. Shoot. I thought that by bringing the easel over here, I was making it a better view. But it turns out I just don't know how to light this. All right. Got all our frisket off except for one piece, which I didn't tell you all about. Surprise! I kept this rose. So now we just have a piece of frisket over the outline of this rose. What are we going to do with the rose? We're going to pop it off, man. Going to pop it off. And we're just going to do that with a nice... creating some atmosphere too. Get a little atmosphere in there. What I really love about the airbrush is that you can see now we have like this, like as if there was dust in the air or something like that. It kind of really creates this just beautiful, otherworldly, almost digital, like a digital gradient. So this is also what we just did. So check this out. Boom. It's pretty rad, right? All right, so. Oh yeah, we got a little rose action. Did I get all the frisket? I think I did. Yeah, all right, cool. Cool, man. Is that a frisket? No. All right, sweet. All right, so I'm happy with that. I think we created something. I'm thinking it's still going to need a little work. I'm not sure just yet, but kind of getting those edges, getting the backgrounds and the edges is kind of always the hardest part. I don't know why. It's just tough. I scrutinize the edges so much. It's like something I do, I guess, a crutch. But you know, I always want the edges to not necessarily pop off too much. You don't want them to be too detailed because you want the focus to be in the center. So you kind of like, you know, dealing with the edges and the backgrounds is always kind of like a push and a pull. You know, it's kind of like, oh, dampen that, brighten that a little bit, dust that. But cool, I'm real happy with that rose. That looks good. Check that out. I'll show you guys up close. That looks great. Radical rose. If you've been with me since the beginning, that's when episode 1 minus 1, the first episode that was only Instagram, that rose went on that sign, and it's been there ever since. And we've just been kind of slowly building it up, which is cool. I think what we're gonna do is actually, once we get there, we're gonna make like a little half circle around this rose. So that way it kind of survives in whatever the next layer is, because generally my layers cover layers, but I don't want to lose too much of that rose. I want to I want to highlight the rose. It's a pretty rose. I like roses. Roses are great. Terrence, what's up, everybody? Y'all are great. Thanks for coming. What we got 17 minutes left. This is cool. Great. So we used the airbrush a bunch. Let's paint the thing, and then maybe we'll use the airbrush a little more after we paint the thing. But we're just going to paint a circle. It's kind of boring, but it's a slightly segmented circle, but you'll enjoy it nonetheless. Oh, actually, I wanted to show you guys something else. So, like I said, I'm a big fan of stencils. Stencils are kind of a huge part of where I came from, how my art has evolved. Stencils have always been there. They're like the handiest damn thing in the world. I use them all the time. See that? That's a little 42 in Roman numerals, I think. But so we're gonna cheat a little. We're gonna use some spray paint. Shh. This is some spray paint that I got for a mural gig, and I didn't use it all, so now I got a lot of spray paint that way from mural gigs and stuff like that. So I just want to kind of, we're working on this beautiful kind of seagrass down here. We're going to put some floofs in there, but I also want to add a little E into that area. So what better way to do that than kind of drop in a stencil here. You could do this with an airbrush as well, but generally spray paint has a lot more pigment, so it just stands out a lot harder. And gives you a little texture sometimes. Cool, so we dropped some type in there. How easy was that? We just dropped some type in, and that was super easy. Light, be with me. You guys see that? Yeah, cool. There. We dropped in that. All right, people are laughing at stuff. Are you laughing at me? Did I tell a joke and not realize it? Okay, cool. All right, let's paint this shape. We were talking last time about a step on here being kind of like a nice, really light periwinkle purple or something like that. So I have just the thing. You guys can't see this very well, but it's a purple. I already drew the pencil on here before I did the airbrush. I was trying to make it so we move along in this show as opposed to just me, painting like 3 lines and then being like, well, that's the show. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. Hey, cheers. I love you guys. Don't forget the pickle. I'm really proud of this pickle. I hand painted this pickle, but also I made the show, the pickle. Watch it. All right. Here we go. Really nice purple. Ooh, we're gonna add a little water to this purple, actually. Sometimes paint loses a little bit of its moisture over time, and then if you let it go too far, your paint dries up totally, but if you catch it in time, you can add a little bit of water, and that kind of just smooths everything back out. It might mess with the opacity a little bit, but, whatever. Everything I do pretty much takes 2 layers anyway. 2 coats. But I like that. All right. These don't need to be perfect lines. We're not going for perfect. We're going for fun. We're going for a lot of the rest of this is already kind of mechanical. So we kind of want to pull away from the mechanical aspect of it and kind of get into some of that handmade, that beautiful handmade aspect of it. Oh, shoot. Not far enough. There's already a lot of pencil lines on here, so I'm having trouble figuring out which ones I laid down before the show, but I think I'm on track now. And this actually is going on pretty thick, so pretty opaque. I like that. This is a thing I do all the time. I don't need to paint all the way to the center because I'm going to cover that center with like 40 more layers over the next however many episodes we are together. So really, if I was bright, I'd only go a couple inches in. It's something I'm working on because I'm going to cover that all up and I don't need to waste the paint anyway. But it's something I'm working on. How many times have I said bad boy? Bad boy. All right. Cool. You remember we stamped all these little letters on here? They're making a great backdrop to put any sort of anything over them. After I did the pickle episode, I went ahead and I coated all 3 of these signs in clear coat just to kind of lock in all the mixed media, all the different things that went down on this: stamps, pencils, ink, uh, whatever you may have. And the clear coat basically just makes sure that when I'm basically painting this, it's not pulling up those letters that exist there already, and it's not darkening my paint that I'm putting down currently. Took me a long time in my art career to figure out that I needed to do that type of stuff if I wanted to control the outcome of my paintings. And it's one of those things where I'm very glad that I finally have gotten good at that. All right, cool. Oh God, that's such a good color, right? Especially with that purple ring right there on the outside of that, kind of bringing it in. I'm kind of thinking that maybe once we get really into the center of this one, we might start to see some reds and some pinks. That would be super cool. I'd be way into that. Yeah, cool. It looks good on there. All right, word. I always lose my cap. All right, cool. So that's, I don't know what you'd call that color, but I like it. That's a good color. I don't know when I mixed it or what I mixed it for, but it really serves a great purpose here. Cool. So I want to work on our grass a little bit. We got 9 minutes left. Let's do some grass stuff. We're going to do that with the airbrush too. I think we're going to use that. We're going to use the business card. We're just going to create a few lines and a little bit of texture down there because we want to. We might even do a little, I have a toothbrush that I use, but sometimes I use it for paint and then I clean it real good and I use it for my teeth again. It was a joke. But I do have a toothbrush that I use to splatter. So I think we're going to do a little splatter too. All right. Cool. So like I said, we're going to just kind of create a couple lines here. We already know kind of the basis of what we want these lines to be. And what you could do is if you're on a business card, you spray right here and then work your way out. And that way you kind of know what flow you're working with. So you kind of know when you're hitting that edge and whatnot. So boom, we could just add these little, like, you know what I mean? Just these little variations in direction. And I think that really kind of sets stuff up to drop a lot of depth in there. And I think what we can do too is kind of create, like, maybe we're going to create a little water line here. Now I feel like I'm talking like Bob Ross. Bobby. See, boom, you see that? We just created a little fun, a little direction, maybe a little misdirection. We'll do it here too. What's cool about this is coming up over the graffiti. We still got that stencil that we sprayed there. We're going to go over that stencil a little bit too, and we're going to work that stencil kind of right into the grass. You know? Very naturey. I think we'll probably get a little good action going on there too. Cool, yeah, so look at that, guys. I feel like that was a pretty productive hour. I feel like that was maybe our most productive hour together. Although maybe it doesn't look it, but we really did a lot for the atmosphere of these paintings, which is great. Where's my toothbrush? Where's my toothbrush? Well, shoot. I can't find my toothbrush, but that's okay because we can use this as a fan brush. Fan brushes are really good at kind of distributing splatter paint. I'm just going to dip my brush right into the airbrush where I still have that color left. I'm going to dab it a little bit, but then I'm just going to come out and I'm just going to really just kind of squirt that everywhere. And this is also another way of kind of creating, I mean, what are these? Maybe these are like little bugs, little buggies, little frogs, little flies or something like that flying around the swamp here. But that, that just adds another element. And sometimes I find some of the most realistic paintings are ones where it's just layer after layer after layer of detail, color, pigment, stuff like that, which I'm into. This is something I had wanted to use in a previous episode here. This is basically a squeegee. So this is also a great way because some of this color is still going to be wet. So we can kind of get a few more lines up in here using this, which is going to give us a little more fun. We want that. We kind of want that textury kind of stuff. We're just building blades of grass. You know what I mean? Okay. Cool. I think on the next episode, I think we're going to be able to put some like little actual floofy little plant tops in there. And maybe we'll pull out a leaf or two to kind of just make you really, really believe that goodness. Cool. Let me hold that up close to you guys so you can see what we really did there. So it's like there's just all sorts of texture and depth there now. We got that typography in there. That's adding a little something. Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right. So you can see just, little bugs and little plants and maybe tiny little flowers and whatever they're floating around in there. I think that really helps. It really adds a lot of, it gets you going. All right. We only have a couple minutes here. Instagram, your YouTube, your Instagram. Instagram, the YouTube is a way better angle. I promise. I don't know how much longer I'll be doing the Instagram. I know it's super easy to get to, but it's kind of a less superior platform. And YouTube, get at me on Instagram. Oh, this is fun. At Ian Tartasky. I'm there on Instagram. I do fun stuff on there, I guess. YouTube, Instagram, YouTube. Instagram, thank you. But subscribe to my YouTube because that's the way that this show will probably go on from the future. Plus the pickle's on YouTube. So you got to check that out. Just two bad boys. Many shoots though. Oh, that's not a good thing. Anyway, check out my website. I've been working on it a little bit, iantartasky.com. Hey, just Google Tartasky, all right? You'll find me. iantartasky.com. I put a couple things in the shop. I'm putting a couple more things in the shop over the next few days. Yeah, I'm really trying to make a go at this art thing now that I don't have a job. So buy some stuff, commission me. I love doing commissions. I'm doing a bunch of graphic design as well if you guys need graphic designers. Hey, anyway, I love you guys. Thank you very much for being here with me. We got like another minute, so let's drink together. Oh, I don't want to break the matrix. Kim Kardashian. Next week, we're going to do a bunch of stuff. And it'll be great. We got a Meg.
To answer your question, he is Ian Tartasky on YouTube. You can just Google YouTube, Ian Tartasky, and his channel comes up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can't believe I'm the marketing director somewhere.
Spliff! Good choice. Good choice.
I gotta feed the snake after this. Berta must eat.
That's not a euphemism.
Yeah, no, Berta must eat. So that's my next mission is clean up this mess and then feed my snake. And then Meg and I just got a Nintendo Switch, so we're gonna figure out how to set that thing up. Got any game recs? Hit me up. I don't know what's good on there. Anyway, it's like 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Y'all are great. Thank you for coming. Love you guys. You're wonderful. Thank you.